laptop, I can't hear anything.
No, but you can see yourself.
Yeah, I can see myself. I saw myself the last time. It's just the voice.
Okay, now the thing is this: when you look at the sign for like a microphone, when you are talking, you will see if it's moving or not.
It's not moving. It's not moving.
It's not. It's okay.
It's not moving.
Okay, now for the person to know to get you, you need to send them the link.
Yeah, they have it already.
Okay.
But they can't hear the voice. Can you hear the voice? No, you can't hear the voice.
Right. Okay. If you by the microphone that is there, well, can he see you?
Yeah, you can see me. You can see me on his phone, but it's just that I am speaking. He can't hear me.
Okay. Now, what you do you have any way of connecting a mic to your laptop or headpiece, like the mobile phone headpiece or anything like that?
I have connected my, what is it called? My what is it called? My cable. But even with that, it's not.
It's not coming.
It's not coming.
Okay. Now what next can we do? Because your right. What system is your laptop? Is it Windows?
It's Windows 10.
Windows 10. Okay. Do you know how to go into the settings?
Yes.
Okay, if you go into the settings,
Praise the Lord. Troubleshoot. He's asking me to troubleshoot the microphone here.
try and do that and see. I'm not, because I'm not really. If I'm there, I would have been seeing what you're doing, but I'm kind of trying to imagine it.
He's saying stereo mix contextual audio jack information available, external microphone, headset, internal microphone.
Check the internal microphone.
Internal microphone. Next. Detecting additional a problem found audio device mode fixed. Mode. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let me see now. Praise the Lord. Rademola, can you check now? Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Yeah, it's working now. It's from the settings, sir.
Okay, all right, then that's fine.
Okay, so please send me those information. I think that setting up the camera will be the best option.
Okay, I will get back to you in the next few hours. I need to speak to them and see if that's how to get that arrangement done. Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Take care.
All right, sir. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Hello. Yes, sister.
are you?
How is Kinoko?
So thank God for today.
Yes, so
Thank God.
can't come in.
Imali, that man, Mona, Danny.
Danny, no.
Huh?
No, no.
It's for that on a party.
I saw so many people there and you can't just let us see where.
Some people are quite coronavirus.
May God help him. Kebo si bute.
One of our cases, we have child. Why? So much. I was
If for the man over the phone. Okay. It's a call. I can
see why people are dying. That cough, you need to do master.
My God.
So, look, that is where people are dying. I'm not so happy.
Yeah. It's so bad when person is asthmatic.
Yeah.
Oh no, no. You should go to the hospital though. When I saw when I isolate only was the respiratory problem. That's why it's isolated. He should just call the ambulance on there. He has a respiratory problem. We can't isolate. Okay,
very high activity. And people are just
garlic will take away the high. Garlic will 23 point something. So garlic is the best. No wonder in there like garlic. Make them quiet enough now. Oh, but like kind of one anyway. Huh? I'm allowed. What the young about vitamin C or tata? Yes, sir. We are well. Probably what I say that Bob ambulance, whether you believe that he's collapsing, you should just act. No one.
I think so.
Call him, said that now everyone was not the asthmatic. That one blast now. So now with that no feeling. Nobody no feeling now with the coronavirus and he's asthmatic and he's now dying. Yes, now because it's recorded. Don't want to many that they're responsible. Oh wow. About 111. Okay. 999.
This is a waiting room. Wherever you go, people are on gurneys, in corridors, and meeting rooms. They're everywhere. All the medical staff urge other nations to see what's happening and lock their nations down right now or face this.
What I would suggest is just shut down to stop all the outbreak and not come in this kind of situation that is very, very difficult to manage.
Can I ask you personally what it's been like?
Intense movement and choices, and people are critical and will die without any treatment, and you make the difference. But when you're at this point, you realize that you are not enough, and maybe we are 100 anesthetists here. We are doing our best, but maybe it's not enough.
We are performing the detection for the nasal swab to detect coronavirus.
The problem facing health services across the world is that when the infection curve goes up, it rockets. And all the resources, all the testing, all the supplies are used up instantly. Multiple hospitals all at once. What's staggering is that Italy is doing a lot of testing. Thousands upon thousands being tested. So far, about 4,000, the numbers keep changing, have actually completely recovered. The crucial point is that about the same number are dying. They're sort of neck and neck. And it seems you either live and recover, or you die. Something nobody expected. Bergamo wanted us to see this to show what a catastrophic emergency nobody has experienced before looks like. Here they're calling it the apocalypse. And this is what it looks like. Their message to us is simple. Get ready. Stuart Ramsey, Sky News, Bergamo, Italy.
Well, within the last hour, the head of Lombardy's intensive care unit told Sky News that while the virus has mostly affected the elderly, it can also be life-threatening to a large proportion of younger patients as well.
15% of our patients in the ICU, which are the most severe patients, 50% of our patients are over 65 years old, but that means that the other 50% is younger than 65, and we have patients 20 years old, 30 years old, quite a few. And those are severe, like the old ones, if we compare comorbidities. Obviously, younger people are usually healthier, so they survive more.
Well, we can speak now to our Europe correspondent, Adam Parsons. Adam, we've been talking a lot about Italy on the programme today as the death toll there surpasses that in China, but other countries also fast going up the curve. Just talk us through the situation throughout Europe.
Yeah, but Italy does remain the focus. But I think it is important to remember this isn't just Italy. This isn't a crisis specific to Italy as a country. It really is much more discrete than that. There are regions in Italy that have really barely been touched by coronavirus. This is specifically about a chunk of Italy, an extraordinary outbreak, really focused on Lombardy, on Emilia-Romagna, and on Veneto, because those three regions account for about 80% of all the cases across Italy. So it is almost like a sort of explosion of the virus in those areas. And that is why you're seeing, as you saw in Stuart Ramsey's report, hospitals there are under enormous pressure, whereas there are hospitals in Italy which are coping very well with what has happened. Let me tell you, though, that in the past few minutes, more news to come out of Italy, specifically in Lombardy, and that is that the Italian army is now being called in, soldiers from the army are being called in to enforce the lockdown there in order to make sure that people stick to the regulations there. So that is, I think, a significant development. We've seen army trucks on the street acting in a rather grim role of collecting bodies. Now they will be on the street enforcing this, rather like the fact that in France you have 100,000 police enforcing the lockdown. Also, just coming out of Italy, we're hearing that the Italian Treasury is saying that the economic hit, which we know is going to be big, is likely at the moment to see GDP, gross domestic product, they're going down by 3%. That, of course, in the context of a nation that is already in economic trouble. But as you said, this is spreading around Europe at quite a pace. In Germany, where we are seeing rises day on day of 25% or so in the number of cases, the number of deaths has now risen to 31. Worth noting, this is 5 weeks ago or so. Germany was a nation that was pretty much at the forefront saying, let's not overreact to this, let's not worry too much. Now, this weekend, we understand that the German government is going to be monitoring behaviour of its citizens, deciding whether or not it needs to bring in much more stringent regulations. And this reflects instead from a rather exasperated this Lothar Wieler, who is the head of the Robert Koch Institute, which is the federal government institute in Germany, which monitors cases there. As I said, he sounded a little exasperated as he gave his take on the latest situation.
This disease is very serious and will affect more people.
With your wife and child. Because of coronavirus, you are going to be quarantined, but you have a choice. Do you A, quarantine with your wife and child, or B,
Oh my God.
All right, stop scrolling for 1 second, and I'm going to tell you that the coronavirus was planned. So in 1981, Dean Koontz published this book, The Eyes of Darkness. All right, so they were developing a drug called the Wuhan 400 in a lab outside of Wuhan in China. And this Wuhan 400 is a perfect weapon. Now keep in mind that this book was published in 1981, okay? They say in the book, in around 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes and resisting all known treatments. Almost more baffling than the illness itself will be the fact that it will suddenly vanish as quickly as it arrived, attacking again 10 years later, and then disappearing completely. People, if that didn't give you the chills, then I don't know what to tell you, because that is actually crazy. Published in 1981, predicting an outbreak, which sounds exactly like the coronavirus right now. Was this set up? Was this biological warfare? All right, stop scrolling for 1 second, and I'm going to tell you that the coronavirus was planned. So in 1981, Dean Koontz published this book, The Eyes of Darkness. All right, so they were developed. going to be quarantined. Alright, stop scrolling for 1 second, and I'm going to tell you that the coronavirus was planned. So in 1981, Dean Koontz published this book, The Eyes of Darkness.
As far as we got. You've also obviously got your half-year results out today. You've cancelled the dividend. How much is that going to hit you personally in the pocket?
I think it was a famous song that said, "Don't cry for me, Argentina." So it's very kind of you, but don't worry about my last divvy.
You have net debt at the half-year stage of £804.5 million. Are you going to be asking the banks for forbearance or any holidays in terms of interest payments?
I've never asked a bank for forbearance before. I think as Muhammad Ali, paraphrasing Muhammad Ali, if I even dream about asking the banks for forbearance, I better wake up and apologise.
But I mean, how hard can this be for the business? In a worst case scenario, how much do you think sales potentially going to fall by?
I think it's extraordinarily hard for the business. Even the greatest pub or restaurant business in the world depends on its doors being open. So if the doors are shut, it does become a lot worse. We think we're better placed than any other pub company because we've got very high sales to start with, but it'll be tough for everyone, no question about it.
And are you going to be launching initiatives such as takeaways, as some pub operators have done?
I'm not sure about takeaways. I drink Aberdale, so I'm trying to think how a Deliveroo driver can give me 3 pints and a bag of crisps in my house. I'm not sure it's a viable proposition, but we'll maybe come up with something.
And in terms of the day-to-day running of the business right now, are you experiencing any supply chain difficulties? Are the brewers still delivering beer to you in the normal way?
We got pretty short supply chain for all drinks. They'll certainly be delivering in the normal way. All foodstuffs coming through. So I don't think that's, I can't see that that's going to be a worry for the pub and restaurant trade.
And so in terms of the messaging from government, the communication, what do you want to hear from Boris Johnson?
Well, I think we all know that Boris has got the most difficult job in the world at the moment, and he's doing his best. I think he's trying to deal with a lot of different requests and information. I'd say keep doing what you're doing, keep pubs open, and if it gets really stressful, I'll meet you for a pint in our pub and put you straight.
That's Tim Martin speaking to me earlier. Don't lay off staff, because if you stand by them, we will stand by you. That was Boris Johnson yesterday, urging businesses big and small to keep on workers, as he promised there'd be more support from the Treasury to do so. We should learn what that support looks like in just a few hours' time. Already, though, there are job cuts and pay cuts. Sky News has seen a letter to British Airways pilots informing them they will have to take at least 4 weeks unpaid leave over the next 2 months. So what exactly should the Chancellor be doing? Well, I'm live now to Wimbledon in southwest London, where I can speak to the Director General of the British Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Adam Marshall. Adam, welcome to you. What are the specific measures that you want to hear from Rishi Sunak?
Well, we want to see things come from the Chancellor this afternoon that help businesses pay what matters. And the two people businesses should be paying right now are their employees and their suppliers, making sure that we keep those supply chains going and making sure that businesses can keep as many people on as possible during a period of disruption. So we're hoping that the Chancellor this afternoon and the government over the coming days and weeks will put in place more measures that enable businesses to do precisely that.
I was talking to a former CEO this morning, Adam, who said that basically companies should just give their PAYE details to HMRC and let them start paying employees directly, cut out the employers, cut out the banking sector altogether.
Well, I'm not the expert on the plumbing of HMRC or the tax system and whether that plumbing can be reversed in that way. But we do have to have measures in place that get cash to the front line right away. One simple thing that ministers should be considering right now is that there's a tax point next week when businesses will pay VAT, they'll be paying national insurance through the PAYE system, and of course they'll be paying business rates. Right now, we think businesses should be paying employers and suppliers, not the taxman. So some forbearance on that or a suspension of those business taxes would be one way they could really, really help at a critical moment.
There's been mooted some sort of suggestion of some kind of maternity pay arrangement as well. What did you make of that?
Well, obviously ministers are looking to use some of the existing systems and processes that they have in place in order to provide some sort of support for individuals. I don't envy them the task that they have in trying to do this at great pace, but the guiding rule has got to be get cash to the front line quickly, because we're hearing from so many businesses all across the country who are already taking some very painful and difficult decisions. Some of them are doing so today and are marking time in hours and days rather than weeks or months. So there's really no time, and we've got to get cash straight to the front line.
How's the relationship been with the unions during all this process, Adam? You've been involved in these bipartisan talks with government. Is everyone getting on okay?
It's an incredibly constructive process and an incredibly constructive moment. We're working closely with government, we're working closely with the trade unions because we all share the same objective, which is to help as many good businesses as possible affected by this unforeseen global event to stay in business. That's an objective we all share. We're all going to continue working together on that.
This is about the third package in just over a week that we've had from Rishi Sunak. Do you think they finally get it, those in the government? Is there an acknowledgement that what they've announced thus far hasn't gone far enough?
I think there's a real understanding in government that the situation is evolving quickly. What we're trying to do is to make sure they understand what's happening on the front line each and every day. Some of our business communities across the United Kingdom are sending us some pretty heartrending stories of the decisions that are having to be taken and the firms that are having to be closed, whether temporarily or permanently, because of loss of custom. This is a pretty dramatic situation. I just want to make sure that the relationship between business and government is as good as it can possibly be at this moment in time, so that together we can get those solutions in place and keep our companies trading.
Briefly, Adam, this is all going to come at an immense cost to the state. Once we're through this crisis and at the other end of it, do you expect taxes to have to go up?
Well, I mean, we've seen instances in the past where the UK has had to take a lot more on its balance sheet in order to get the country through a period of crisis, and there always has been a way for business and government to come together thereafter and grow the economy.